What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me today on another episode on this channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if this is your first time here, and check out the link in the description for the merch store. Get a t-shirt today. And today, we're going to have to address the future of Star Wars. Bob Iger, CEO of Disney and all things Star Wars, has confirmed that David Benioff and D.B. Weiss will be at the helm of the 2022 Star Wars movie. Now, we know that they announced 3 Star Wars movies, so this is one of them. So, where does this really leave Rian Johnson? We're going to have to address that as well. But first, there is going to be a 3-year gap between Star Wars Episode 9 and the first David Benioff and D.B. Weiss trilogy. And according to Bob Iger, this is what he had to say. It makes sense to take a hiatus. 3 years is the proper amount of time to take a breather and reset, but really gear up for the next film's release. We did a deal with Benioff and Weiss, and the next movie will be theirs. So that is his words on this. Now, do they really need a 3-year break? No, they really don't. They just need to put out good movies. I've already said it before. I really don't need to address that again. 3 years is going to be a long time when they're putting out MCU movies, like pretty much 3 movies a year. But that's another story, so I'm going to digress right there. Bob Iger still has not mentioned Rian Johnson's name once. Now, there's some speculation that they could alternate between the series, like Benioff and Weiss in 2022, Rian Johnson in 2024, then Benioff and Weiss in 2026. To me, that makes 0 sense. If they're going to put out a trilogy, show the entire trilogy during that time frame. That's what they pretty much been doing with Star Wars. That's the way Star Wars has always been done. But Bob Iger is allergic to the name Rian Johnson. He won't confirm anything with Rian Johnson whatsoever. But he did mention that there will be a 3rd live-action series on Disney Plus to go along with The Mandalorian and the Cassian Andor series. Now, one thing that we know for sure, this won't be Rian Johnson. Bob Iger's already said that if they're going to make movies, it's going to come out in movie theaters. So my guess is this is probably the Obi-Wan Kenobi live-action movie that we've been hearing about. It was going to be on the big screen. But however, Solo pretty much messed up everything for that. Really, it was The Last Jedi, but that's another story too, so I'm going to digress on that as well. But I think that probably could be the Obi-Wan Kenobi live-action TV show. I think that would be pretty cool to see on screen. But still, no word of Rian Johnson whatsoever. The rumors started coming out last week that Rian Johnson's trilogy was canceled. And this time, Rian Johnson has not said anything. He knocked down the last 2 rumors about his trilogy being canceled, but not this time. He hasn't said anything. So I think he probably knows something. Or this could be another scenario. Bob Iger and Disney, they haven't told Rian Johnson that they're canceling his trilogy, but yet I don't think Rian Johnson even acknowledged that they gave Rian Johnson a trilogy anyway, Bob Iger. So I'm thinking that they just hope that Rian Johnson disappears quietly, because Disney has everything planned out all the way until 2027. This is 2019 now. So pretty much the next 8 years have already been planned out for Star Wars and for Disney as a whole. Rian Johnson's name is nowhere in sight. So for everybody that continues to believe that his trilogy is happening, I'm about 95% sure now it is not happening. I mean, Disney announced 60 movies up until 2027. No Rian Johnson. Now, this is like the second or third time that Iger has actually mentioned Benioff and Weiss. He said they have a deal in place with them, not Rian Johnson. And Rian Johnson, according to Kathleen Kennedy, got his trilogy before The Last Jedi. So, what, about 2 years ago now? She said he was getting a trilogy, but yet Bob Iger and Disney have never mentioned his name. It's not happening. They've announced Benioff and Weiss, who came 2 years later. But that's my thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on this? Benioff and Weiss, I know they're getting a lot of heat right now for Game of Thrones Season 8, and I get it. Season 8 is not good. But I would much rather see a Benioff and Weiss Star Wars movie than Rian Johnson. I mean, overall, the whole story of Game of Thrones, the whole entire TV series as a whole, is really, really great. So if this season is going to be their big time stinker, I guess I'll give them a shot at Star Wars, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. They're going to have some source material for Star Wars for me to really, really be on board with them. But like I said, we don't have a choice. They're doing Star Wars. I would much rather them do it than Rian Johnson. But we'll have to see if this is any good. So guys, let me know what you think about all this. Game of Thrones, guys, Benioff and Weiss, Bob Iger confirms 2022 for them. Do you think Rian Johnson is going to get 2024 or 2026? I don't see it. Maybe you do. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments. If you're new here to the channel, please hit subscribe to catch future videos from me, and we will catch you on the next video. John Matrixx, out.